A few weeks ago, a subscriber by the name of Marie Johnson reached out to me and requested that I complete a project for her upcoming wedding. Congratulations, Marie. And in this project, she wanted me to create for her some DIY champagne glasses with the theme Shabby Chic using the colors teal and silver. Well, Marie, here is our project. I do hope that you enjoy. Stay tuned, everyone. For this project, you will need one champagne flute, any color spray paint of your choice. You will need some rhinestone chain, some burlap ribbon with some white lace. You will also need some painter's tape, any brand would do, or some plain masking tape. You will also need some white pearl sprays, some mini roses, any color of your choosing, and some letters with adhesive on the back. Of course, you will need your handy dandy tools. Let's get crafting. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to prepare our glass to be painted. And what I'm going to do is just go around almost the bottom middle of that glass, because we are leaving out the base of that glass as well as the stem and the base that the glass stands on. And so to do this, I'm going to go in with my painter's tape. Now, a little side note, I would very strongly suggest that we are using painter's tape to do this. Any brand, I'm not endorsing any one particular brand, but any brand will do. I do not suggest using masking tape or even duct tape, because more than likely what any other tape might do is leave a residue on your glass, which is going to lead you to unnecessary cleanup. And so using your painter's tape, you are just going to continue to tape around this glass, because now we also have to ensure that no other part of this glass is going to be painted, especially and including the inside. So just covering it up, also going around the top of it, and then taking a few more pieces to go across the top of that vase. The last thing we want to be drinking on our wedding day is paint-tainted champagne. That will not be good, ladies or gentlemen. So just continuing to cover up my glass, and then the last thing that I'm going to do with one final piece of tape is going across the grain. I am going to place one final piece to ensure that that glass is totally sealed. And then I'm going to take my glass outside and I'm going to spray it with a color of my choice as requested by one of my subscribers, and I'm using this Krylon Sea Glass Aqua. So here we have our glass that has already been painted, and just for the essence of time, I went ahead and I pulled some of that tape off already. And if you can see, I'm showing you where there was a little bit of paint that kind of dribbled up the side of the glass, and I knew what I did in my haste to get the bottom of the base of that glass painted. I turned the glass upside down before that paint could have dried 100%. So my darlings, learn from my mistake. Let that glass dry 100% completely, and then turn it over to spray paint the bottom. Now what I'm doing here is I'm taking our burlap ribbon. I've used this ribbon in another project before, but for this project I'm not going to be using the entire ribbon, but I'm going to be cutting out the lace, and all I'm doing is just going alongside the pattern and cutting out that lace, because that is all we're going to be using. And here you have what it looks like. Now what we're going to do with that lace is, of course, we are going to affix it to our glass using our E6000 glue as well as some hot glue. And of course, course, the hot glue is going to allow us to keep working, as it's going to give us our right now adhesion as that E6000 glue cures over the passage of time. And so now here you see I'm just putting down a few globs of that E6000 glue on top, going through a little bit in the middle. And once I have placed my E6000 glue, I am going to, with my hot glue gun, just place a few pellets on the bottom of that piece of lace. And on the bottom, because that part of the ribbon is going to be in the blue, and so we're not going to see that hot glue once it dries poking through the inside of that glass. And so once I've placed my glue, I am going to place it on my glass, make sure it fits all the way snug, close in that seam, and then I'm going to set this on a side for about an hour just to ensure it is dried all the way through. So here we have our glass that has been embellished with our lace. And what we are going to do now is we are going to place our rhinestone on the stem of that glass using our E6000 glue. Now, to help me with this process, I am going to be using my Lazy Suzan, and with it a square styrofoam, just to keep that glass in front of my face, or I should say on eye level, so that I can see better. And as you see, I'm going in with that E6000 glue on 3 points, so that as I thread this glue, as I thread my rhinestone, it will be able to engage with the glue. And so to do this, I am finding my starting point by placing the beginning of that rhinestone string in a little pocket of glue. And once I've found my placement, I am simply going to turn this glass around using my Lazy Suzan as my fulcrum, so that I can get the desired rotation that I need. And once you get this started, my darlings, this is going to be very easy to complete this process. And I'm just going to keep going around until I get to the bottom of that glass. So here we have our glass, and this is what it looks like with our rhinestones attached to it. And there you can see where I stopped it. And to stop it, all you do is place your E6000 glue and make sure that you set it aside to dry. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to create our tiny floral bouquet, and we're going to place that bouquet where I was showing you, right where those two ends of our burlap ribbon reach, or closes, excuse me. And to do this, I'm just going to take 2 of my flowers and I am threading them together, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my hot glue to make almost like a nest of hot glue, where I'm going to place those 2 flowers in it and allow them to dry before I continue to add any more flowers. So using my hot glue, I'm going to place a wad of glue right where the ribbon meets, and then I'm going to place my 2 flowers right on top of that glue. I'm going to hold it for a while because I did put down a good amount of glue, so just to make sure that that hot glue, or rather those flowers, are sitting in that hot glue, and to give that hot glue a time or a chance to set up, I'm just going to hold it here for a few seconds. When I'm satisfied that that hot glue is indeed holding those flowers, I'm now going to take my orange rose, and of course these are just examples. Feel free to use any color or any flower that you like. And I'm now taking that orange rose. You can see the stem is very short, so I'm going to have to maneuver it very carefully. And I'm placing it in, again, some hot glue that I just placed right down there in the middle where those two white flowers are. I am now holding it to make sure that it sets, and once again I am satisfied with that setting, I am going to continue placing my white flowers, one to the left of that orange rose and then one to the right of it to make a nice cohesive piece. Once I have done that, I'm just going to allow everything to set up nicely. And once everything has set the way I have placed them, then I will come back to show you what our next and final step is going to be. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our adhesive letters, and I am just, for my purposes, I'm just going to be using the letter B. Now when I made my prototype, of course I used G for groom, B for bride, and what we're going to do now with these adhesive letters is we're going to place them in front of our glass. Now again, this is just a suggestion. Feel free, if you wanted to use the whole word or spell out the entire word bride or groom, you are free to do so. But of course we can see with this letter, the problem with this letter is flat, and of course our glass is rounded a little bit. So what we're going to do here, even though there is some adhesive on the back of that glass, I'm going to go in with a few a few dabs of my E6000 glue, just to ensure that that adhesive on the back of that letter B is going to have some staying power. And once I have placed the glue on my letter B and I have found the placement or placed it where I want it to be, I am going to again go in with my painter's tape, and I am going to wrap that painter's tape around the glass, over the B and around the glass, to help to mold that letter in place. So when I turn the glass around, you'll see that the B is hanging off. You just saw that. And so what I'm going to do is take my tape, take a nice generous piece, because it's almost like putting on a band-aid. You want to make sure that if you get a paper cut, you want that band-aid to go all the way around your finger. Same premise here. So placing it on lightly, securing one end, and then pulling very firmly, pressing that letter B down, and then giving it a chance to dry. So I'm going to set all of this aside, allow this to dry, clean up any glue fronds that I can find, set the table, and I'll be back to show you our finished project. Well, there you have it, my darlings. Our shabby chic, teal, and silver DIY wedding champagne flutes. Marie, I sure hope that you are able to gather some inspiration from what we did today on our channel. Aren't they lovely, my darlings? My favorite part on these champagne glasses would have to be, of course, the rhinestone stems, which is my favorite number one, and my favorite number two would have to be the burlap lace that is going around the entire glass. I really enjoyed creating this. Now, if you have found any value in this video, I would ask that you kindly give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment in the comment section below. If you have any ideas as to what other color combinations this particular design would look good in, I would really and truly love to hear from you. To my Danny's darlings, I thank you guys kindly for all of the comments, the suggestions, the questions, the responses, even the brilliant ideas that some of you shared with me in the comment section below. If you are not yet a Danny's darling, however, and you happened on my channel today, we would like to humbly invite you to our channel as you subscribe so that you can learn and grow with us. If you do happen to subscribe to our channel today, please be sure to click that notification button to ensure that you are made aware when any of our videos are published. Listen, as usual and as always, it has been a pleasure working with you guys today. And as we end this video, say it with me, we on this channel are always going to ask the question, why buy when you can DIY? My darlings, thank you so very much for watching with me today. Until next time, I say to you, be well, take care of yourselves, know that I love you all. Bye now.